สวัสดีครับผมเดียวนะครับวันนี้ผมอยู่กับสุดยอดมือกีตาร์แจ๊สทั้ง3คนนะครับพบกับเขาเลยดีกว่าครับคุณ Ulf Wakenius Martin Taylor and Eric Wakenius Okay let's go to the first question How do you start this project play together
It started first me and Eric play in a duo and me and Martin play in a duo and we just thought it could be nice to do some 3-guitar thing. So it was, I think, when was the first gig? It was in Europe, right?
Yeah, we played in Europe. So it's, I mean, Eric and Ulf, obviously, they've been playing together for a long time.
Yeah.
Since you first started playing.
Since it was born.
Yes.
In the cradle.
And then Ulf and I have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
When Ulf was playing guitar with Oscar Peterson,
yes.
and I was playing guitar with Stefan Grappelli, and we would meet sometimes, and we always said about playing together. And it took quite a long time until we managed to do it. But then in the past, maybe 3 years, we've started. We play together a lot now, and it's great. It's such a good. We speak the same musical language, you know, because we have a similar background. And of course, when we join with Eric, it's fantastic. We have it brings another dimension to the whole evening.
So you mentioned when you play with Stefan Gillespie and Ulf, you play with Oscar Peterson. Both of you play with the legend of jazz. What is the most important thing that you learn from the legend?
Of jazz?
From the legends. Well, do you know, the thing is, it's not as if I working with Stefan Grappelli, and I worked with a lot of other great jazz musicians of that generation. It wasn't as if they would kind of teach you things and say, well, you should do it like this or do that. It was just being around those musicians that you just picked up. It's like an energy of something, and you were listening to them play, and you were trying to play in such a way that you didn't play something stupid, that it would fit with what they were playing. So after a while you start learning that language. Like I always consider it like a language, so it'd be like being with people speaking another language. Eventually you start to pick up that language. So I already knew the language, but with Stefan it was a refinement of that language, hearing it being played, hearing that language being spoken in such a deep and incredible way. It'd be like being with someone who's a poet, you know, who knows how to really use the language to express themselves. So one of the things I learned the most from him was actually playing for an audience and communicating with an audience, because it's always been a criticism often of jazz musicians that they seem to just play for themselves. And it's not really like that, but it can sometimes appear like that to some people. But with Stefan, he really communicated his music. He used to with an incredible generosity. So that was the biggest thing that I think I learned from him, how to share music but share the enjoyment of it as well and the emotion.
I totally agree. And also, they put so much trust in you, those legends, and like Stefan and Oscar, and they elevate you to another level. And it's kind of an unspoken word. They don't tell you what to play, or you just have to find out yourself, you know. But the whole situation is so in the same. It's also very demanding. It's a high pressure gig, so you all your senses are at full. I mean, really, you know, full speed. But it's a very rare thing, and it's all those guys are gone, you know. So we were the last of the Mohicans. I mean,
you know, they were that generation of jazz musicians. They were very tough, and they were quite demanding in many ways. I mean, Stefan was he was a kind of a lot softer kind of character, but you knew that you couldn't. You always aimed for 100%, and you allowed a little margin of playing at 90%. But you know, I had that discipline anyway, To me, if I played at 95%, I'd had a bad night.
And they never gave up. I mean, they were really old, but I mean, I remember once we played at Hollywood Bowl with Oscar, and I had a good first set, and he's like 80 years almost, and he passes me after the first set, and he said like, "I get you the next set." So they never gave up. I mean, they were.
Yeah, Stefan was like that. He was quite competitive. If you did something, then he would really rise to that. And then not only that, he would maybe play something that would put you off, so that maybe you made a mistake. It was like a little game. They used to do things like that. So that it's almost like telling you, "Okay, kid, you think you're smart."
Or different keys, you know. You play a standard tune in a key you never thought of, you know. Like anything, you know. So,
Same as you, Eric.
Yeah.
You play with it, two legends.
Yes, and except for of course the playing, I learned how they communicate, how they lift each other, and how they enhance each other's playing. You know, and I learned so much just being around them and watch them live music. And when we tour, I see all of it, and that I learned so much. So like I always am like a sponge when I go there. I take in everything, and it's fantastic, unbelievable.
And also, you are a Bangkokian now.
Yes,
Yes,
I live in
Bangkok.
Bangkok. We're home. For me, I'm home.
His home near.
He's a homeboy.
My office.
Yeah, exactly.
Tambourine.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're neighbors.
He's a homeboy.
Notably boy.
So it's wonderful to have them here.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to about playing guitar. What is the most important thing when you improvise in standard jazz songs?
Well, how I learned to improvise right from the very beginning, which I kind of understood, I can remember my dad playing a record of Django Reinhardt, and Django Reinhardt played the melody, and then he went into this other stuff. And my dad said to me, he said, "You hear that? He's improvising." And I was very, very young. And he said, I said, "What's that?" He said, "Well, he's playing, what he's doing, he's just making up a different melody over the same chords." Well, I understood that. You know, when they teach improvisation in a lot of colleges, they do a fantastic job, but they teach it in quite a complicated way, I think. If you can just take a melody and vary the melody, this is what classical musicians did in the time of Bach, Mozart, Beethoven, all of those musicians. They were improvisers. And so if you just take the melody, vary the melody, then you can take it further out. And then when you start learning the vocabulary of the language of music, of jazz, then you're able to improvise from a melodic starting point. You have to understand how harmony works. But of course, you're not saying, okay, this is this chord, therefore I can play this scale or this mode on that, which is how it's taught a lot of the time, and that's valid too. But the way I learned to improvise and the way I teach it, it's just to start, play a melody, then vary it, then change it, and listen to other musicians, copy phrases that you hear musicians play, see where you can fit those phrases in. So the way I improvise comes from a melodic standpoint.
I agree totally. And also I think a very important thing when you improvise is relax, you know. I mean, jazz is a very advanced language, so you have to accumulate, I mean, all of the core, you have to know what you do, I mean. But I mean, for instance, when we played in Seoul the other night, we just relaxed, and the most fabulous things, I mean, improvisations came out, you know, because you relaxed and you have, then you can have time, you give yourself time to think and time to improvise, you know. So I think it's very important, you know, how you approach it. So it's not like here, like you pre-planning what you're going to play, you know.
We have a structure of what we
do. So you're horizontal thinking, not vertical thinking, horizontal thinking, you know. So.
Anything more?
Well, when I hear them improvise every night when we're touring, or what you're going to hear tonight, yes, they play different things, but it's out of joy, it's out of you know, just improvisation. So I hear and I kind of learn from how they answer each other. they have that part where they answer each other, and that's a lot of lesson there.
Also, when when Ulf and I played together as a duo, we have such respect for each other that we don't try to cut up each other, you know, and one play better than the other, or it doesn't become a contest, which you hear a lot, and audiences like that. Sometimes it sounds like we're doing. What we tend to do is Ulf will play something, and I pick up on it, and then I play with that. It's like tennis, and then I throw the ball to him, then he throws the ball to me. That's how we do, but it's not a matter of, okay, you played faster than me just then, I'm going to play even faster than you. We can joke with things. When we do things like that, the audience start laughing with us because they can see we're just having some fun. That's what we're doing. We're playing table tennis, ping pong. You know.
Play guitar like a funny thing.
Yes. Humor in music is.
That's the thing. Relax, you know.
But it's very special when they do it because they have their musical history together, you know, and when they share that. You know, so it's very special when they do it. You know, it becomes something extra because of their musical history.
When the beginner player try to improvise, but most of the beginner players always play scale than the melody. Do you have any advice for them?
Yeah, I think we kind of I kind of answered it. But that question is that the advice of how to play is learn harmony. And understand the basis of harmony, which you can take a chord sequence, but instead of thinking of, and in jazz you'll see chords, it will say A flat minor 7th with an added 9th and a flat 5 and plus 11, and you go, wow, this is complicated. But when I play, I just break it down to, is it major or minor? And that is the basis, and I move out from there. Then I might add a 7th to that. But I'm not giving my brain lots of information. Just, is it major, is it minor? And then that's how I keep that structure in my mind. So it's like a sketch. When an artist will sketch with a pencil to get everything in proportion and everything the artist wants, then you start to color in. Then you start to paint it. So if you have them, is it major, is it minor, that's a sketch. And you have the sequence, that is a sketch, it's in pencil. And then when you start adding all the other harmonies, and then when you start to improvise on that, then you're starting to color, you're starting to paint the picture. So you're painting the picture rather than just being a sketch. But you have to have the sketch to begin with.
Also, the jazz is like, when the hard bop was at that time, it was very vertical playing, a lot of chords, and then Miles created a kind of blue, the model playing, and he did that to free up the players, you know, so they were able to play more freely and play more melodies, you know. And now I think we're back to, since a lot of jazz comes out of the schools, we're back to the vertical playing again, with a lot of odd time signatures and everything. So if a tune is very tricky, you know, you have to keep all your mind just to getting through it, you know. So I think it's very important that you have a foundation that makes you be able to improvise, you know, not just going through it, you know. So it's
okay.
Different times, you know.
Anything more?
No.
Okay.
Come on, man.
So you tour around the world. In your opinion, how is jazz community today?
I think it varies what part of the world you're in, what country you're in. I work a lot in America, where of course where jazz comes from. It's still a small. Still quite a small group. Yeah, but the difference is that for me is because I play the guitar. The guitar is such a popular instrument still that the audience I have are more likely to come to see me because I play the guitar than because I play jazz. But certainly, the jazz audiences, it does seem to have been in a decline. But these things go like that. They go up and they go down. We just played in Korea, and whenever we play there, the audiences are very young. And we're going to China. Whenever I play in China, very young audiences.
Oh, that's interesting.
But you play in Europe, and it's older audiences.
It's so
Ameri-
different.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
America,
very
it's-
different audience.
in America, it's a bit of a mixture. It's a
Yeah.
mix
Yes.
of age groups.
In the present day, there is so many things that the beginner player can learn to play guitar or play guitar jazz on YouTube, or maybe he can walk to someone like a private to learn with private teacher. In your opinion, jazz music still go to the school or university to learn?
Well, that seems to be the way it's done now, going to schools. And one of the things that I noticed, certainly where I live in the UK, which I think is, it has a social effect as well, because the only students that can go to study jazz in the schools are people that have parents that are wealthy enough to pay. Whereas when I played, even if there weren't any jazz colleges when I played, even if there were, my parents my parents didn't have any money to send me to college. So if that had been the route for me to go, it wouldn't have been possible. If they'd have said you must go to a music college to learn jazz, then that would have stopped it. They said, well, I can't do it. Fortunately for me, that didn't happen. But yes, I mean it's very good. Things have just changed, like everything's changed.
Everything's changed.
The internet changed everything.
Yeah.
It changed the whole world. And
Yeah.
this is just a small part of what the internet has
We
done.
talked about that.
To our world and to our societies, is that everything has changed, and you have to find the way to fit in. 9 years ago, I started online guitar school with Artist Works in California. Interactive one. It's not just like a course, but I interact with my students, and that was still quite revolutionary even 9 years ago. But now it's become the norm. So it's a very good. There's some pluses and minuses to this. The plus is that I can teach thousands of students all over the world, and they have the opportunity to study with me, which without the internet that wouldn't be possible. I was fortunate that I was around people that played, and I was able to learn just playing together. So that is the plus side. But the minus side of that is you don't have that real, what we were saying, you being with Oscar Peterson, me with Stefan Grappelli, of just being with those people and the things that you absorb.
But something has
and
changed.
it gives a great depth to everything. But yeah, we just live in different times.
Completely.
So, it's not like we're not, we're now considered some more the older generation. So, but we're not of that generation that think, the old days were the best. I don't think so. It was just different. I think we're living in incredible times right now. I think it's, if you think of all the things that the internet has brought us that are fantastic. Of course, it's there as well to be abused and people to use for, not for good reasons. But if you think of all the incredible things that have happened because of the internet, even with us being here, and we're able to sit here and talk and put it on the internet and go around the world. It wouldn't have been possible. Not that long ago, it wouldn't have been possible. So I think we live in great times.
But it has changed. I mean, today it seems like YouTube is flooded with guitar lessons. It's not like when you started 9 years ago, it was unique, But now it's all over. I don't know if you see it too. I mean, it's so much free lessons everywhere. I mean, it's completely like the market is dumping, really.
Well, it can get saturated like anything does. But everything has its moment, and it has its where it peaks, and then it declines and changes. So it will change again. So we're just in the middle of constant change. That's going on, and there will be those opportunities, opens opportunities where it floods everything. And you have
Yeah, yes, yes.
these things happen. But
Yeah.
but it's still all good. I think it's still all very good.
How about you? Did you learn in the school?
Well, yes, I learned from. I went to MI in Los Angeles, and I studied a lot with Scott Henderson, among others. So I learned from that, and then of course from my dad, So it's both, It's I learned in school, but I played a lot live. So yeah, it's a mix.
Well, you had quite an advantage too.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely, yes. So that changed everything.
So you get a shortcut.
Yes, of course, yes. So I get into music business and the scene and on stage differently. Yes. I get right up there. But it's a mix. I studied too with different teachers and. In school, so you need a little bit of both, I think. So everything should be in a balance. Yes.
Can you suggest the guitar book, jazz guitar book?
Jazz guitar book. I just throw one. I started with one by I don't think you can get it. Joe Pass guitar
Joe Pass
method.
guitar method, okay.
I like that one.
And you, Martin Taylor.
Well,
Martin Taylor book.
Can I plug my books?
Yeah.
Okay, go
Well,
on. Which one?
I have 3 books
Yeah.
at the moment with a publishing company called Fundamental Changes, and I did one on solo guitar. I did one on walking bass lines, and I'm doing another one now on improvisation. But what I do is I make things very simple as possible, and just simplify things. I was saying major, minor. That's it. So it's not, you read a manual, a book, and it's like reading the manual to fly a plane, and I don't understand this. I just keep it very, very simple. I never looked at books. I didn't study from books because I couldn't read music for a long time. So it was of no use to me whatsoever to read a book. And I just had this thing, I just wanted to teach myself. I was very much like that with everything. I didn't really want to go somebody and somebody sit me down, now do this and do that. I just wanted to, I'll figure this out myself. If I've got questions, I'll come and see you. So I had that kind of mentality. That's how I learn best, is just to do it myself.
Okay. Eric?
Yeah, when I book, they suggest, they know. Yeah,
Okay. Let's talk about your gear. Benedetto?
They gave it. I played in NAMM show, and I went to the Benedetto booth, and I tried this, and I like it. And he said, "You can have it."
Yeah.
So I took it with me.
That's nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's very nice guitar. I like it. I like it because it's not feeding, it's not feedback, and it's pretty punchy sound, and it's easy to get on the airplane. And, it's a good guitar, So I like it. Yeah.
Okay, Martin.
This guitar is my own brand.
Yeah.
It's my own guitar. This is called the Martin Taylor Joya, and these guitars are made for me by a company called Fibonacci, who are based in England, very near London. So
really good guitar from Fibonacci.
Yes. It's just a small group of people. And they're handmade guitars, but it isn't one. I think this is the secret of it. There isn't one guitar builder making it. So you have one person to do one thing, somebody else does something else. But it's all handmade. One person puts the guitar together, another person finishes the guitar, and then there's 2 or 3 other people that do everything else, puts everything else on. So that way we're able to produce a guitar that is relatively inexpensive for what it is. Because if this was made by just one famous luthier, it would cost 3-4 times more. And it's a small jazz guitar, so it's only 15-inch body. A lot of jazz guitars are very big, but I like smaller guitars. They feel more comfortable.
So if someone want to buy your model, where can
you can buy it from my website,
website.
martintaylor.com, and you can go in
How
there.
much?
It's $5,000.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Well, exactly. I mean, I have other guitars like this, made by other makers that are they're probably 20,000, 30,000. I had a Benedetto.
That's
from 1988,
Yeah.
and that guitar sold recently for $65,000.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of money, but it's relatively inexpensive.
So your guitar punched me too.
Yeah.
And Eric.
Well, this is different from
It's
like
an acoustic
Western.
guitar.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
acoustics. So it's made by a Swedish guitar builder
from Sweden.
Sundari. Yes, exactly, from Sweden. So this is kind of like Martin guitar in a way. You know, it's I don't know what to call it, a 00 or 00 or something like this.
Yeah,
This shape.
double, yeah.
So it's smaller and it's.
I have a triple O.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is a bit smaller and
Like a small shape.
little fancier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's So this gives another sound, of course, because of this pickup and the strings and it's acoustic. So yeah. So this is
Yes.
a little bit different from the jazz guitars. Yeah.
Okay. Who is the artist or which album that you listen to at the moment?
Let me think. You can answer first. I have to think.
Well, actually, I listen mostly to singers now at the moment. For the past few years, I enjoy listening to good singers because you can learn a lot from singers the way they phrase things, because they have to interpret the lyrics, they have to interpret the words and tell the story. So it's very easy for us as instrumentalists not to think of that and just play the notes. But if you have an idea of the story and the feeling of something and through the words, then it can make your playing and improvising more lyrical. That's what I do. I mostly listen to some of the older singers like Frank Sinatra, Peggy Lee, Ella Fitzgerald. I listen to current singers, Michael Bublé. I like Katie Lang. I like.
Okay.
He's always a wonderful singer. In different styles of music, I enjoy singers. I learned so much about phrasing and tone and sound.
You?
Ciao Gilberto.
Ciao Gilberto.
Amorosa.
Yeah.
I love that album. It's a fantastic album.
Yeah. Okay.
Very recommended.
Eric?
It's not an album, but I listen to Chet Baker all the time. Yes.
So the last question I have, so funny question. Normally, a lot of people, they know you when you improvise, you play well, excellent. But this question is about when you wake up at the morning, what is the first chord that you play?
First chord.
I never play in the morning.
Okay, but
Unless I'm being
you never
paid.
play in the morning.
Yeah.
What time that you play?
Oh, I don't play till
You play golf first,
about 2
right?
o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay.
Golf and tea. And
No, I play about 2 o'clock in the afternoon because I go into my studio then and I film some things for as well as the online guitar school. I film for my students, but I also have a Patreon site, a creativity site, so which is also on my website. You can find as well.
Okay.
And so I'm always filming new material for there. So I feel at my best about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I feel ready to play.
Okay.
Until about 4 o'clock, then I've had enough. So sometime between 2 and 4, and then I stop. Then I take my dog for a walk. But it depends. But actually, one thing you said there just made me think this. You said, "What's the first chord you play?"
First chord, like someone plays G, someone plays.
Yeah, because we get into the habit as guitar players of playing the same thing when we pick the guitar up. And that's one of the things that I teach my students, is to break out of that, because what happens, you end up, the guitar plays you and you don't play the guitar, so you end up playing the same thing. So I have lots of different techniques that I teach of how to get you so that you don't play the same thing every time you pick the guitar up. So you're able to just play the ideas. If you have a new idea, you can just play it.
Okay.
But I think you do instinctively. You take some chord often. I often take like A major 9. I think everybody does that.
Yeah.
I mean, without thinking of it,
Yeah.
I think everybody has this instinct, you know, you just take a chord, you know.
My instinct is to tune the guitar up,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and I have a way of tuning the guitar up. See, that's how I can hear where the guitar's in tune, just with this.
Is this after the T or before the T?
Everything is always after the T, because T comes first.
Yeah, T comes first.
Okay.
T for
Eric,
you.
Well, yes, first chord.
first chord of you.
Not sure,
Okay.
but it can be.
Ask his wife.
Yeah. Maybe exactly.
Ask your wife.
Yes. What chord?
Yeah.
What chord? C.
Yeah.
C. Good.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Well,
Okay.
So there you go. That's the answer. Yes. You know.
There you see.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much again.
Thank you.
ขอบคุณครับ ครับนี่คือบทสัมภาษณ์ของตำนานมือกีตาร์ทั้ง 3 ท่านนะครับ ก็ถ้ายังไงเนี่ยครั้งนี้ทางกีตาร์ไทยต้องขอบพระคุณ Hitman Jazz นะครับสำหรับในโอกาสที่ให้เราได้สัมภาษณ์นะครับ แล้วรอติดตามชมนะครับว่าเทปต่อๆไปนะครับเราจะไปสัมภาษณ์ใครนะครับ เทปนี้ลาไปก่อนครับ ขอบคุณครับ สวัสดีครับ